Welcome everyone to the 2020 webinar series. My name is Matt McCune and I work with our manufacturing solutions here at 2020. This is the second webinar in our series. So a little bit about 2020. This image shows all of our offices. We have over 500 employees, and every employee at 2020 is involved with the furniture industry. We don't do any other industry. This image really shows that we're a global company, and that allows our expertise in industry knowledge to be even deeper as we work across continents. There's really three parts to our approach in the furniture industry. The first one is that we really look at the industry as a whole. As you can see here, from consumers, the designer, and retailer to the manufacturer. The second piece is working towards the goal of a common definition of product data. That's the idea that there's a single source of the truth when it comes to product data. We know that not everyone needs the same data. A consumer needs access to different data than the manufacturer needs, but it's all related and it should all live and originate from the same place. The last piece is recognizing that having the data and the data consumers isn't enough. It's handling the data between all the players in this information supply chain is what's really critical. Understanding how the information goes between consumers, dealers, and manufacturers is our strength, and it's really the value we bring to the furniture industry. 2020 Insight can provide a complete end-to-end solution, but the webinar today really focuses on order entry. You see here quality in equals quality out. That doesn't just pertain to order entry. That's all data and all database systems. We know better than most that sometimes ERPs or the old manual ways of keeping data can feel like you're just feeding the beast, so to speak, in that the system doesn't seem to be working with or for you. Today we'll be focusing on those challenges and how to make order entry work for you. Our presenter today is Jorg Brons. Some of you on the call probably know Jorg. He has deep industry knowledge. He's worked across continents, and he currently manages our manufacturing line of business here at 2020. So Jorg, if you want to take it away.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our web series at 2020. Before we get started, I wanted to give you a brief look back on how everything started in the office industry. So basically from easy to very complex where we are today, very complex configurations. And that is really the main reason why we at 2020 have so many requests for our order configurator solution. So if we look back in the 1900s, it was an American engineer, Frederick Taylor, who was really obsessed with efficiency and oversight and is credited as one of the first people who designed an office space. He crowded workers together and had the bosses in private offices looking face to face, basically, to the office employees. Similar like we see this in old movies. So then in the 60s, we see that the layout has changed, or besides these bright colors. But we also see that it was more important that workers are lined up in a different way. For some clerks, they got the pinwheel arrangement. For the designers, for an example, to make the chatting easier and move between different kinds of tables. During that time, it was basically Steelcase who was the first manufacturer offering furniture in different colors. So 1968 inspired Herman Miller to create a product based on New European workplace philosophy. And as you can see, that there was already a little modular business furniture system, but with lower dividers, as we know this few years later. had already flexible work surfaces. And that was basically the transition when we got into the cubicles. It's like the ranks of the middle manager swelled and new classes of employee were created. But these kind of people were too important to get a desk at on its own. A desk to share with somebody else, so they needed their own space. But on the other hand, they were still too junior for window seats. And that was basically when the time of the cubicle was born. Then later in 1994, around this time, the design has changed again, and null was here a driver based on history. It's more like networking became very, very important, and you see the dividers were not that high anymore, so you could stand up and chat with your with people from the next cubicle. It was all about sharing information, working together, and that's basically up until today. Very modern, flexible, highly customizable, and that's probably the key. What I wanted to bring with this message. Everything was standard before. You could select maybe different colors, but today you can build out of these individual sections. No cubicle can, if you want, look like another one. So and that respect has also driven the software, what manufacturers rely on and also designers to be more flexible, accommodating this one, but still at the end of the day making sure that the order is accurate and validated. So that brings us in today's topic. So the first question we want to ask, who's really involved in the order entry process? And as we can see, there are, and on a day-to-day basis, there are dealer, customers within the showroom. They define something, what happens in the order entry process. The customer service department is always involved. Order entry department who receives the order from the dealer and needs to either clean it up or continue working on it. We see the engineering department more and more because of specials which are coming in based on certain flows. The finance department is getting involved in the order entry process because we need to make sure that the credit limit from the customer is still valid, and that we can assign this order and then push it forward, or sometimes it goes on credit hold. And then obviously, last but not least, we should not forget the IT department, who's basically putting all these dots together. So when we look at what are the challenges which we have in the order entry process, first of all, it's the type of how orders are coming in. It's still, email is it's getting more and more, but we still see manufacturers when we go there the first time and evaluating their business, that they work, that they receive a fax. In some cases, even they get the order via mail. And what is critical here is there's a communication between the dealer and the manufacturer, and that results if there's no system in place, that at some point in time the dealer thinks and believes in something, but the manufacturer doesn't see that, and so the information are not really accurate and coming over, and that these kind of miscommunication unfortunately leads in the order entry process always to longer lead time, which should really be avoided. And what we want to try to break out here is that the barriers between the individual departments. So if an order comes in, and let's focus only until it hits the shop floor, it's probably worse if we list in here all the other modules which are available in an ERP system. But if somebody in order entry does a very small mistake, then these effects can have like the reverse cone effect, can have a large impact later on my production side. So if I, by mistake, select a wrong hinge location, I mean, if I have an order for, I don't know, 100 pedestals, then all of a sudden they can have the wrong connection. Or if I select box file instead of file in there, then it's a small error which cannot be maybe catched in the beginning. But there are certain criteria which will help avoiding these issues. So what should a perfect solution deliver so that we have the optimum result at the end of the day? So on one side, we want to make sure that either the order or the product is really validated at the dealer level. So that means any kind of configuration rules which we can put in place, exclusion rules, formulas, pre-configured products, that will help. So all of your knowledge which you already have today in your paper catalog needs to be translated or visible within on the manufacturing side, and then also on the dealer side. So important is also that this best-in-class solution delivers something that you can customize a product, and not just because the dimension are changing or the color of a product changed, that you need to get your engineering department involved in this one. So if that would be the case with the engineering department, then this would really lead to longer lead time, and that should be avoided. The same is always at the point of sale with pricing. Pricing in today's world, it became so complex because of the individual configuration possibilities, and it goes in different price categories with different species, with different styles, with different colors, and any other configuration or add-ons. And the price should always be calculated automatically in the background. What we also need to deliver in a best-in-class solution is the bidirectional communication with the manufacturer, so I mean dealer manufacturer. So it needs to be a real-time link so that once a question is asked on one side or an action happens on one side, that the other side can see it directly. And also, dealers not only picking one catalog when they order, when they enter an order, they sometimes pick from multiple catalogs and then distributing this order, and it gets split and sent directly to the right manufacturer. So that is something which need to happen as well. We don't want to have a re-entry of data of an order. So once an order has been entered in any kind of point of sale system, this order needs to float directly into the manufacturing system so that we can avoid additional lead time here. Mentioned this one already, that the real-time order communication, if something happens, the order gets into the manufacturer system, and the manufacturer accepts this order, the credit limit check is approved, the order gets processed into the shop, something happened in the shop. All of this information can be fed back automatically to a web-based solution to the dealer, so that the dealer knows at any given time, basically, where the order is, if it's delayed or not delayed. And that's sometimes very important, particularly when I go into the builder business and in a huge office building has been built, where other companies like construction companies are dependent on it, that they can move on. And obviously, some functionality, if I do a status change of an order, or if I do want to acknowledge something, this information should be emailed with attachments right away to the dealer or to any kind of sales reps. So in a nutshell, that means we want to have a single point of order entry. We want to break down the barriers between the departments. So we want to have one system in place where each department sees the information, but also gets the information from start. Somebody orders an office or a desk or anything, and that this information flows all the way through without a lot of interference, and it basically represents the entire business processes of a company with all kind of status changes. And as I mentioned before, make these information at any given time not just visible to individual departments, but also visible to the management team, so that they can make smart decisions on how to run the business, at the end. And then also, just an example, when to buy materials. Sometimes material is very expensive. See how many orders they have, so that they can distribute it evenly, so that I don't have to do a lot of overtime, and other days I have nothing to do. So all of this information is something which I need from the system, that I can make clear and smart decisions on the management side. So the information flow on your order entry side works like, and I want to visualize this here a little bit, that somebody walks into a store, you have certain tools here to configure the order, and then through a web solution, it should really go to manufacturer. And when the manufacturer has any comments or information which need to be returned to the dealer, this can happen through this web solution or the cloud. Particularly, this one is very important to do this fast and quick and accurate when it comes to these super highly custom products. Once the order is confirmed, everything's good, then it goes the regular way through the business process, what has been defined by manufacturers, until it hits, at the end of the day, the shop floor. And I want to stop here. Obviously, the ones who know 2020, it goes much further here, where we then could go into inventory, purchasing, costing, financial integration, and so on. But for today's purpose, I would skip that. So when we look at an end-to-end solution, and on the left-hand side, you can see what 2020 is offering here. There are different kind of tools for the dealer side. On the right-hand side, you see tools for the manufacturer. And then important is in the middle of this part, where we have the bidirectional communication. So that translates into products which we are offering. CAD teasers, one is with AutoCAD in the base background, the other one without. And once I have done my basic layout, I can add value to it by using worksheets. You see the top here on configuring it. So the combination of how I configure certain office products, this can be visualized then in another tool on the internet, and it can also be viewed on a mobile app. That is really a key selling feature which we see lately for the dealers when they go back to their customers and represent really in a rendered image on how the office really looks like later on. So once the order is then confirmed, it goes through the cloud here. I have another picture here from the dealer, basically to the manufacturer. Every single detail on the configuration gets translated into the manufacturing solution. And as I mentioned before, the communication still happens here back and forth. If something changes, the manufacturer does a change, for an example, it can be applied back to the order on the point of sale side. So I'm stopping here, not going deeper into the manufacturing side, but wanted to address a little bit what we want to achieve at the end of the day. With this solution, we want to reduce the lead time. Reducing lead time happens everywhere. Mentioned before, the communication between the dealer and the manufacturer, if this is smart, if the order can be imported right away, that has an impact on lead time. And the goal is really, on one side, to improve on-time shipments, but also I want to make sure that I maybe can cut off something of my lead time, and let's say going from 5, 6, 7 weeks lead time down to maybe 4 or a couple of days less. And if I look at it, if I reduce this lead time by just a few days, think about how many orders you have per day and how many more orders you can do within a year if you reduce your lead time. And that obviously increases also the revenue of your company. Definitely a reduction of rework because the order has been validated and is accurate. Cost reduction and mentioned through the whole automation, the accuracy of an order, the speed we have with our solution, and the visibility it gives everyone in management. That in integration with the business process, that helps really breaking down the barriers between individual departments. And also, we do not want to eliminate the so-called bottleneck of specials. These specials should be integrated right away from the beginning into this entire business process, and that combined makes sure within the system that the entire order flowed through fully validated and accurate right at the beginning. So if an order comes in validated from a dealer, then obviously the order entry department has nothing to do anymore, which is not really true. Actually, what the order entry department can do or needs to do is really focusing on customer service rather than running after an order, making sure, this one is incorrect, make a change on an order, make a change here, make a change there, hang on the phone with the dealer. No, making sure that customer service becomes more and more important in companies, and whoever can improve that and has a really good customer service department, a relationship with their own customers, then these are the companies who will get the next order. So where does it add value for you? So the seamless order import, 2020 works here with different kind of file formats. The technical people under us here, there are XML files or attachments, monitor processes where an email account will be monitored, and once an order comes in, let's say with an attachment, these attachment can be detached and automatically imported as long as it's in a certain way, either XML, Excel file, or text-based, or any other format which can be read by our solution. It adds value for you because of the real-time link between the dealer and manufacturer. There's only one system for quotes and orders, so you don't have to enter for the bidding process your order in one system and then re-enter it again into another one. As mentioned before, the automated pricing and also the costing to compare also later what is my actual cost, what is my planned cost, and do I make money on this order or not. The specials are included where we add value to you. We will reduce the rework, and we will increase the order processing time, and overall with that reducing the lead time. So that means at the end of the day, in all kinds of areas, this will reduce transaction costs for you. On the workflow side, what we see very often is that this workflow needs to be fully integrated. For an example, sending notifications to dealers or within the individual departments. For an example, an order comes in and there is a highly custom part in there. I want to make sure that my engineering department is aware of it and can work on it right away. So if a special line item is flagged, an email will be sent directly to them, or we use task functionalities within the system. Obviously, email acknowledgement and so on. The finance part is super important, particularly in the office industry. When we look at orders with a high volume, I do want to make sure that I'm good, that the customer or dealer is good, in good standing, on the financial side. Otherwise, I'm producing something and I never see my money. Has also functionalities built in where I can check deposit if I have received it or not. So it's a full integration with the majority of the financial systems which are offered on the market. The end result is that we want to have a tailored business process from dealer to installation. Also, the data reuse is very important. So, for an example, if I have buyout items, they can be entered at the point of sale and can be used either on the purchasing side or the shipping side. And enriching data, for an example, when you have a product which you enter in order entry, and this has only a few criteria, but you need probably additional criteria to drive your engineering part. There are features which are hidden in the beginning, but they will be calculated throughout the process. Semi and full custom products, they should be integrated at the point of order entry. And then rule-based configuration, where 2020 is very strong in configuring products with features and options, pricing configuration, tax rule configuration, discount configuration, and then we go further, and when we go into the engineering side, there's additional configuration. But it's only one point where we set up these data, and they work basically hand in hand, and you don't work with multiple databases or multiple sets of solutions where you have to build interfaces on. One part I wanted to mention here, which is very important, is that it becomes more and more important lately, handling multiple catalog and multiple markets. So if you serve different markets and multiple geographies, it's very important that the solution you're working with can support this one here. And then the last part here is basically that the system should be easy to use, easy to learn for new employees. The times are over where you have these long-time employees. You still probably have a lot of them, but as young people come in, they stay with you for a little while, and then sometimes they move on, and you don't want to have a system where you have a learning curve of over half a year until somebody is really up to speed. And that helps also that there's one system in place which can at the end give your management the information to make smart decisions and how to go to the market. So that means even if you expand the sales, it will not increase your overhead at the end of the day. And with that, I thank you very much for today, for you tuning into our webinar series of 2020.